Okay, if you're standing by, this is Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine in the First Alert Storm Team Weather Center. We're going to be starting this live stream here in just a moment. Just give us a couple more seconds here, and going to be tracking some of these pop-up downpours over Metro Louisville that has prompted a flash flood warning for parts of Metro Louisville, including Buchel, Fern Creek, Okolona, up towards Anchorage and Jeffersontown. All right, looks like we're ready. Thanks for joining us here on Facebook, YouTube, our WHS11 app. Just wanted to get straight to the radar here. I am Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine in the WHS11 First Alert Storm Team Weather Center. And we've got a flash flood warning for parts of Okolona, Fern Creek, over to near Anchorage, Buchel. Let us know if you've experienced, if you're in that area, if you've experienced any kind of flash flooding due to this very heavy rainfall that's been going on over the last, say, hour and a half, where it possibly has dumped about 2 to 3 inches of rainfall over that short period of time. So obviously that's our problem. You get too much rain over a short period of time, it's going to cause some issues. So that's what we're watching out for. Just remember the main thing here is to turn around, don't drown if you run into some flooding. The good news also is that the storm that has prompted this flash flood warning has really fallen apart over those areas. So it looks like whatever flash flooding that is possibly happening will recede pretty quickly. And we're going to move around the radar here. So where that storm has collapsed under that flash flood warned area, if you look closely, you can see it flashing there. We have some more storms that are kind of bubbling up, and hopefully they won't sit and linger and cause any additional flooding issues. So over Crestwood, you've got some lightning and thunder. Thankfully, this is not a severe weather setup. We really don't have the ingredients for severe weather because we are lacking a big ingredient, and that would be wind. The atmosphere is pretty stagnant, so that's the problem with flooding. We don't have anything to push these storms around, so they just pop up, and until they can kind of fizzle out and kind of rain themselves out, then you're going to have flooding issues. So southern Oldham County is where we have some of the heaviest rain right now along Kentucky 22 south to 362 towards Todd's Point. And then we've got some very heavy rainfall that is bubbling right up just north of downtown over Clarksville, Jeffersonville, and that takes us up to near Prospect and over Utica. So over Jeff is where we have some heavy rainfall, and then we've got a little downpour over the Knobs, over Lanesville, just kind of scattered about. As we zoom out to the entire WHAS 11 viewing area, you can see actually most of our map is dry. It's just these little clusters that we've had popping up in what is some more humid air across the area. So again, no severe weather threat with this, and this is the kind of pattern that we're going to be dealing with for a lot of this work week. You just have these afternoon, early evening pop-up storms, and then they just kind of sit there. Also, where we had a flash flood warning in central Breckinridge County, close to Hardinsburg, that storm has collapsed over that flash flood warned area. And then like the activity that we have in Metro Louisville, it has kind of bubbled up on the north side where we had some possible flash flood issues. And that would be here around Lodiburg, Freimeyer, Irvington, some rain there. So again, that storm, I'll go back a couple of hours. You can see how long this storm has just been sitting over Breckinridge County. So this here is a 2-hour loop, and so I kind of parked there over central Breckinridge County, prompting that flood warning. I'll go back to a 1-hour loop. And where else do we have any rainfall? Well, we had some over central southern Kentucky communities, and a lot of it has fallen apart. And then we have some additional heavy rainfall. And these little downpours are just sitting over parts of southeastern Washington County and Indiana, around South Boston, just off to the east of Salem. Again, just nothing to push them along because the wind is almost calm throughout the column in the atmosphere. So again, just wanted to pop in here on this live stream and give you a heads up that there could be possibly a little lingering flash flooding. This flash flood warning for Jefferson County, including parts of Metro Louisville, goes until 9:30, so about an hour and 25 minutes longer. Usually flash flooding doesn't last that long, especially when the rain comes to an end. So maybe over the next half hour or so, just kind of watch out for some lingering ponding of water on the roads. Just remember to find an alternate route. You don't want to test those waters. You don't want to try to walk or drive over any flooded roadways. And of course, the Metropolitan Sewer District also advises to stay away from getting into any of that water too, around creeks and things like that, drainage areas, because it can be bacteria and not good stuff in that water. Keep the kids, obviously it's summer vacation time, keep the kids away from any fast flowing water that could be around these areas. Where do we have the flash flood warning? It's in this area that includes Fairdale, Okolona, and then Fern Creek, J-Town to near Hurstbourne Acres and Butrell. So that flashing area right there. And then where just north of the flash flood warning is where we have some a heavy rain maker, some lightning and thunder here over the Crestwood area in southern Oldham County, and then near Prospect and over towards Jeffersonville in Indiana. And then a heavy downpour here near Portland, just south of the Sherman-Minton Bridge, over the Knobs. So again, I do want to continue to point out that severe weather is not expected with any of this activity. Now let me pop up here the rainfall amounts over the last 24 hours. I just want to show you that we've had some pretty hefty rainfall amounts. So we'll go back to max 3 here. Look at your weather graphic. So this is now a look at some of the rainfall totals. This is the estimates per the radar, as obviously the radar has been estimating how much rain has been coming down. So just to the southeast of Hardinsburg, in Breckinridge County, near Garfield, between Garfield and Woodrow, it looks like up to 3 inches of rainfall over about a 1 to 2 hour period. So the potential of some flooding there. And then as we come into Okolona here, there around Outer Loop, Preston Highway, we've got kind of a bullseye of almost 3 inches there too. So again, if you want to share any of your reports of any flooding that might be around your area, feel free to take a picture. You can send those to your photos at WHAS11.com. You can share them in the comments. But thankfully the flood threat is going to diminish pretty quickly in those areas thanks to the storm falling apart. Again, when they just sit there, they choke off the warm air to fuel the thunderstorm, so they literally just kind of rain themselves out after about a half hour, an hour. So that's what we're seeing here on Max HD radar. as we head back here. So in that green area is where we have the flash flood warning. Again, Fairdale, Okolona, near Butyl, Fern Creek. So the rainfall coming to an end there. And then popping up near downtown is where we have some additional heavy rainfall over Jeffersonville, the Parkland area, Portland, Floyd's Knobs, Lanesville. The heavy rain is in Jeffersonville to near Charlestown, not quite there. Utica, Prospect, starting to cross over towards Goshen, and then very heavy rain. It is very tropical. It's kind of like a blinding rain, so it's not fun to drive through if you have to drive through it. So Crestwood here to Centerfield. You've got Carriage Hill Drive, North Ridge Drive is where the rain is coming down the heaviest right now. Again, not a severe weather setup here for us with the lack of wind, just the potential of some flash flooding concerns. And what can happen, you can get downbursts. You can get some little microbursts where the storms collapse. It can put down some isolated damaging wind gusts, but that's very localized, very isolated if that happens. So every once in a while you can get a gusty wind out of this, but generally the winds are going to be light, and this is just going to be your kind of Florida pop-up afternoon tropical kind of downpour. Back into Breckinridge County is where the other show has been going on here, where we've had a flash flood warning for a little while here. It goes until 8:30, but the heaviest rain is over northern Breckinridge County around Freimeyer. There's Kentucky 477. Around Union Star, there's 144 and 86. And then crossing over into Meade County now, just out to the west of Paineville. And just a couple rumbles of thunder with that. It's not producing a whole lot of lightning. Most of our lightning is in Oldham County right now, and that's kind of starting to sneak toward LaGrange, so heads up LaGrange if you're out and about, maybe grabbing dinner or maybe some groceries. That rain might hold together and head your direction. But hugging the Ohio River here on either side, we've got this heavy downpour that's now just to the east of downtown, near the soccer stadium, up I-71, towards Zorn, Melwood Avenue, Indian Hills, right on top of the river into Jeffersonville, up to about 265 to Lee Hamilton. And then we've got this slow mover here over the west end, Parkland to Portland. And then from the Knobs to northern New Albany, we've got this little guy too. It's about to bump into Grant Line Road. And then still a couple little downpours here that are starting to fall apart. You can see how they bubble up and then they kind of fizzle out over a little period of time. So it looks like these are going to collapse on themselves very quickly here in southeastern Washington County to the east of Salem and Indiana. Generally, that is about it. Since you're here, I'll go ahead and pop up the 7-day forecast to give you a little added value for stopping into our live stream here. So we actually thankfully have some rain-cooled air. As we go back to the graphics, we've got 74 degrees. Our dew points are near 70, and that's getting rather muggy out there. So after kind of a little respite, little break in the heat and humidity, we're not seeing any extreme heat anytime soon, but no doubt the humidity is back. So as we pop up the 7-day forecast, there's not going to be a whole lot of change here day by day. Mid to upper 80s, and no day is going to be a washout, but you might have that afternoon pop-up shower or thunderstorm. Thank you, Sandy, for watching, and Beverly Hagest there in Borden as well. So anywhere from around 30 or 40% chance of that pop-up shower or thunderstorm, mid to upper 80s. Well, this is our 6th day in a row we've not had 90s, and it looks like that could continue through Saturday before we turn up the heat a little bit, but that's still not extreme for late July, early August. This is typically the hottest part of the year, late July and early August. So we're up to around 90 Sunday and then 92 on Monday. So the good thing about seeing these heavy downpours, obviously the yards are going to be nice and green. The gardens are getting their rain. Doug Proffitt told me he gave up on the tomatoes this year. If you're a Doug Proffitt gardening follower, He's now going to watermelons. So the watermelons are getting plenty of water here. And so maybe some of the gardens are going to be doing pretty good shape. The issue here, on the flip side of that, you get too much of the rain over a short period of time, and then you're dealing with the potential of some flooding. So again, nothing severe here, but we have some heavy rain coming down as we've got this storm crossing southern Oldham County and getting very close to Interstate 71, just south of Buckner and LaGrange. No warning on that, no flood advisory at this time or flood warning. And then your heavy rain is coming down now over Prospect and River Bluff, near the Lewis and Clark Bridge, Utica, crossing over into Jeffersonville, and just to the east of downtown, here around the Cliftons, Melwood Avenue, Hillcrest, Zorn Avenue, and then heavy rain coming down over Shawneeland, Parkland, and Portland. So it looks like that'll probably creep towards Louisville here over the next couple of minutes as it expands a little bit. But again, as soon as they pop up, they fizzle out. So this is a 1 hour loop. So you can see where the rain was really, really heavy over Okolona. You can see over that 1 hour period, it just completely collapsed and then bubbled up on the north side. The storm didn't really move north. It just collapsed and then started to develop north of where the earlier storm was. And now they're just kind of sitting in some of these areas. So they can't completely rule out that you might see a little localized flooding if these storms don't collapse here in the next, say, 15 minutes or half hour around Prospect, parts of Oldham County too. So it looks like Crestwood, the good news is for you, we're starting to see that part of it collapse. So that would help prevent any flooding concerns there. And just need this to kind of fall apart too over southeastern Oldham County around the Centerville area. There's Northridge Drive. 53 and 22, coming near Glen Eagles Way. And now we're starting to see some of that rain creep into Henry County around the Smithville and Pendleton areas. So getting more and more wet up I-71 northeast of Louisville. And it will not take time as we get towards sunset that this will all kind of fall apart. It looks like most areas will be dry tonight. So good. Again, in the flash flood warning area there in central Breckinridge County, the rain coming to an end, just a little sprinkles left over. And then right on the county line here, northern Breckinridge into Meade County, you've got a big, heavy rainmaker here. That is at Frymire and about to come into Paineville and around the Raymond area. There you can see Kentucky 144, 477, 376. To the west of Brandenburg. Starting to settle down around the Hardinsburg area as well. So that area, and then we've got this area in Oldham County near downtown, Jeffersonville, and that is about it as far as our entire viewing area is concerned, as far as heavy rainfall. Okay, zooming in one more time, we've got this rain falling apart. You can see how it's just fizzling out there around South Boston. Just regular old rainfall around Henryville, down 65, and then you run into some heavier rainfall rates around Portland, northern New Albany, Clarksville. This is kind of funny over Clarksville. Watch how quickly this pops up. I'm going to pause it. So this is like just a couple scans. So there's nothing there west of 65, and then boom. So these things just pop it up in like 5 minutes. And then they fall apart over another area and then develop over another spot very quickly. Flood warned, flash flood warned area, Fairdale, Okolona, Fern Creek, Jeffersontown, Butyl, drying out now. So that is good news there. Any flash flood concerns will diminish pretty rapidly. Again, don't try to test out any of the flooded roads that could be occurring. Keep the kids away from any very fast-flowing creeks or streams or rivers that could have quickly swelled up. No severe thunderstorms, just some tropical downpours here that we're watching around Prospect and Goshen and Crestwood. Okay, that is likely going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching our live stream. I just wanted to give you a heads up on some of those flash flood concerns. And that'll be kind of the nature of the atmosphere here, with very little wind through the depth of the atmosphere here in this kind of stagnant summertime weather pattern. Might have these little localized pockets of some flooding that we'll need to watch for, especially areas that are kind of primed up. If we get storms that pop up over already soggy ground, then that's where obviously going to aggravate the issues and have some more problems. 7:18 on our Monday, July 22nd. Thanks for popping in here on our live stream. I am Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine. For the First Alert Storm team, we'll say good night for now. If we find any flooding, and we'll be predicting more storms, we've got more coverage is what I'm trying to say coming up at 11 o'clock on the 19th. Thanks for joining in.